Good morning, students. Today we start from point charge. Okay? What is point charge? If the size of charge bodies are negligible, if the size of charge bodies are negligible as compared to distance between them, then they are treated as point charges. Okay? Size of charge bodies are negligible as compared to distance between them, means they are at large distance, then the charges are treated as point charges. Okay? Now some basic properties of electric charge. Electric charge have some basic properties. There are four basic properties of electric charge. First is additivity of charge. What is the additivity of charge? Means total charge of a system is the algebraic sum of all charges contained by the system. Means if charge q1, q2, q4 minus q3, qn are in a system, then the total charge q is equal to q1 plus q2 plus minus q3 plus and up to qn. Okay? While adding the charges, proper sign have to be used. Okay? If the charge is positive, then positive sign. If the charge is negative, then negative sign. Charges add up like real numbers. As we add real numbers, charges are also added like real numbers. Okay? For example, 5 is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 1. Okay? Second, charge is conserved. Conservation of charge. Total charge of an isolated system, a system which does not influence by the external forces, remain conserved, remain constant, remain same. Okay? All three have the same meaning. Means total charge remain conserved, remain constant, remain same. For example, 92 uranium-238 breaks in two fragments, 90 thorium-234 plus 2 He4. Then the charge is conserved because 92 atomic number represent the charge, then 90 plus 2 equal to 92. Okay? Third property is quantization of charge. What is quantization? It means all free charges are integral multiple of basic unit of charge. All the charges are made with the help of basic unit of charge, that is denoted by small e, have the value E is equal to 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Okay? The formula of quantization is Q is equal to NE, where N is an integer. It may be positive or negative. Okay? At macroscopic level, means at large scale, the grainy nature means quantization of charge is lost. Means at high level, at macroscopic level, quantization does not follow. Okay. Fourth property, invariance of charge. Invariance of charge means charge is independent of frame of reference. Means it does not depend on frame of reference. That is, Q at rest is equal to Q in motion. If a charged body is in motion, then there is no effect on charge. Okay. So these are the four basic properties of electric charge. Now come to the Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law tells us that force between 2-point charges. Force between 2-point charges. Only force between 2-point charges. Keep in mind that. Okay. Since there are two types of charges, so it states that force of attraction or repulsion, between 2-point charges is directly proportional to the product of magnitude, of both charges. That is, F proportional to Q1, Q2. This is taken in mode because by this we get the magnitude. Okay. And inversely proportional to the square of distance between them, that is R. F proportional to 1 upon R square. Combining both, we get F proportional to Q1, Q2 upon R square. Remove the proportionality, we get constant. F is equal to K Q1, Q2 upon R square. K is Coulomb constant. The value of Coulomb constant is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. And the value of this constant is equal to 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. Okay. So the formula is F is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R square. Okay. Now if we put Q1 is equal to Q2 is equal to 1 Coulomb and R is equal to 1 meter in this formula, then we get F is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught or equal to 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton. Okay. Then we can define 1 Coulomb. The definition of 1 Coulomb is charge is 1 Coulomb when placed at a distance of 1 meter from another charge of same magnitude experiences a force of 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton. Charge is 1 Coulomb if this is placed at a distance of 1 meter from another charge of same magnitude experiences a force of 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton. Okay. Again, we know that F is equal to this 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R square. Okay. Where epsilon naught is permittivity of free space. The value of permittivity of free space equal to 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton meter square. Okay. Definition of permittivity. The definition of permittivity is total number of electric field lines allowed to pass through a substance. If a substance allowed the lines to pass through them, then this is called permittivity. Okay, now Coulomb's law in vector form. Okay, so here there are 2-point charges q1 and q2 with position vector r1 and r2 and displacement vector r2 1. By applying triangle law of vector addition in triangle OAB, we get OA plus AB is equal to OB. Okay? Put the values R1 plus R21 is equal to R2. Then R21 is equal to R2 minus R1. Similarly, R12 is equal to R1 minus R2. If we take the negative sign common, then we get R2 minus R1. Then we get R21. The method to get unit vector is the vector divided by its magnitude. Okay, so we get the unit vector of R12 and R21. In magnitude, R12 and R21 both are equal. So we get or we replace R12 by R21 with negative sign and R12 by R21. In this way, R12 unit vector is equal to R21 unit vector with opposite direction. Okay, they are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. With the help of this, we can calculate the Coulomb force on charge Q1 due to charge Q2. That is F12 vector is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R12 square. When we are taking F12, then the distance is R12 square, R12 unit vector. Okay. Similarly, Coulomb force on charge Q2 due to charge Q1 is F21 vector is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R21 square, R21 unit vector. But if we replace R21 by R12 and R21 by R21, then we take the negative sign in vector form. Okay, then F21 is equal to this minus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R12 square, R12 unit vector. But this is the value of F12. So F21 is equal to F12 with negative sign. But this is Newton's third law. So Coulomb's law agree with Newton's law of motion. Equation 1 and 2 are the vector form of Coulomb's law. Okay. Now, if there are a large number of forces, then Coulomb's law is not applicable. Then what we do? This problem can be solved with the help of principle of superposition. Okay, it states that total force on any charge due to a number of charges, total force on any charge due to a number of charges is the vector sum of all forces acting on that charge due to other charges, but taken one at a time. Means if Q1 and Q2 are interacting, then there is no work for Q3. Okay, in this way we get F1 means the force on charge Q1 is equal to F12 plus F13 plus F1n. Okay, the proof of this principle is, consider a system of n charges. This is represented by this diagram. Okay, force on charge Q1 due to charge Q2 is F12 vector is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R12 square R12 unit vector. Okay, similarly force on charge Q1 due to charge Q3 F13 vector is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q3 upon R13 square R13 unit vector. Similarly, F1n is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Qn upon R1n square R1n unit vector. Okay. After this, applying principle of superposition. According to principle of superposition, F1 is equal to F12 plus F13 up to F1n. Put the values of these forces. In all these forces, Q1 and 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is common. So we take this common. By this we get Q2 upon R12 square R12 unit vector Q3 upon R13 square R13 unit vector up to Qn upon R1n square R1n unit vector. Then we give the summation to this expression, that is F1 is equal to Q1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught summation I is equal to 2. This summation starts from 2 because Q1 is outside. Qi R1I square R1I unit vector. In this way we get the total force on charge Q1. Okay.